Never mind. It is the 2,500s miscellaneous and contractual. I wonder if that's for things like transcripts and whatnot, maybe.
Okay, Elaine, we're all set.
Yeah.
Tape's rolling, so we're good.
That was an investigation. I don't know why that was charged to my line, but that's another thing. Okay. We're running, so I guess they're ready. So,
We're good?
So we're going to work on this together, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So I looked at Alina's legal services line, and we currently had $14,000 budgeted there. And based on the current trend that we're seeing, I honestly feel that that's not enough, but I think that we need to have that internal discussion
To
about
figure
what's
out what
running
is
that up.
enough.
I'm sorry?
To figure out what is enough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can just shed a little bit of light because as some of the board members who have been on the board for a while know, historically, there was always a full-time and two part-time town attorneys. Partway through the year, I believe it was this year, we did get a deputy town attorney. And then I have been using outside counsel mainly to help with planning board meetings since there's so many nightly meetings between planning board, zoning board, town board, and my court appearances. So to kind of help alleviate not having so many night meetings on top of working full days. Rob Huss has been helping with that. But then additionally, the ethics board has their own counsel because of conflicts of interest that were coming up with that. So I think part of that might be having a conversation with them to have them get approval for certain things before going ahead and spending.
Do we not
money
have
on
that
legal
set up?
counsel. But then there's also, we might be a little bit higher this year because of a current matter that's pending where there's also a conflict of interest that we had to hire outside counsel for. So that wasn't typical for the prior couple of years, but this year it's a little bit higher, probably for those reasons. So if the one matter is resolved, assuming no other conflict of interest next year, then it should be lower.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that and maybe hit it again next week.
And then
So,
I think a lot of it is pretty much the same. We do have, I use Westlaw for my legal research, and that we usually see an annual increase that we budget for every year. But as far as training and membership, supplies, recording fees, those are all standard, and I don't see a need to increase.
okay, so your cell phone was brought down to zero, so I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked Eric. Are you going to take the cell phone stipend?
I haven't ever taken a cell phone stipend.
Okay, so I'll leave it at zero. That's okay. And the other thing that I was looking at is I think perhaps we need to give her a little more wiggle room in the 4,600 miscellaneous and contractual. So that's basically everything that isn't covered anywhere else. We're already at $5,800 this year, but that has to do to exigent circumstances as well.
I think if we look back in the past, that we've actually, I mean,
These numbers are lower than they
Yeah.
were in the past.
lower than they were in the past.
Especially if you take into consideration the fact that we had a full-time attorney and two part-time attorneys, even with the outside counsel fees, is that we're seeing an increase for it in this year. That's still lower than what we were paying for those three attorneys and outside counsel in the past by quite a bit.
Right.
And really, unfortunately for you, she works with all of us and we've been so short-staffed. Everybody throws in to help. I don't know how you get all of what you do get done. So,
And I mean, for what it's worth, I'll just kind of throw it out there. I mean, we had the red flag law mandates that came down, was it last? No, the chief left.
Yeah.
I think that was last year. So there's an increase, a pretty significant increase in court appearances for that with the bus patrol. I mean, I'm averaging probably about 60 trials a month, plus our, court cases and
me asking
parking
questions.
violations, like all sorts of things. So, I mean, court in general has just increased, which obviously takes me out of the office and creates work after
Well,
hours.
I'm in favor of whatever you need to put in there. It's necessary. That if we have to raise it, we'll have to do that.
And obviously, we've increased revenue, not just due to Elena, but due to the police department with bus patrol and
Yeah.
things like that. There is more revenue coming in. So if we need to, we just move it over once we hit the availability to do so. Here, whatever you
I
need.
know,
Hear that? Start writing, girl.
dangerous dog too, right?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
had some of those. I mean, there's actually quite a bit of court stuff that comes up. That's not even taking into consideration, the tax certs every year and any other.
HR stuff that's arisen and collective bargaining agreements. She's done a lot.
But does anybody have any questions?
So maybe we can add in some better numbers and bring it up. We'll bring it up on Tuesday.
Okay. I think that's it then.
All right. Thank you, Town Attorney Finnan. And as we motioned, we're going to move from this into executive session